All right. So I'm coming to you today to talk about American definition essay, and essentially to clue you in on what this paper is all about. So, unsurprisingly, this essay is about you defining America, and what we've been doing in class is looking over a variety of what I'll call artifacts that have then been framed for you in a way that kind of makes you question something about the American experience. Um, Obviously, this class is not the only place where you're gathering artifacts, right? Let's say that you've been to Washington, D.C., and you've been to the Smithsonian. That's a great resource for you. Or that you've been to Jefferson Memorial. That's a great resource for you. Or that you're taking an American history class. That's a great resource for you. And so the idea is to try to do something that's impossible, which is take this big spinning thing that we call our country, right, and try to make some kind of sense out of it. And that can happen in a variety of different ways. As you've noticed, that's how we do essays in this class. And so you can pick your own topic inside of this big question of what is America and define it for yourself. We are going to use sources in this essay, so you do need to use proper MLA citation. I will remind you that we use footnotes in this class, so you're going to use footnotes when you refer to sources. But we're going to use sources a little differently than we have in the past. So instead of taking a John F. Kennedy inauguration speech and quoting him, do not what's best for you, but, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Instead of quoting that, we're going to pay a tribute to it. We're going to acknowledge that that quote has somehow inspired you, or that speech has inspired you to get to this level of thinking where you are. So you're using these artifacts not as direct quotes, not as contextual evidence that you understand something, right? Because we're trying to get away from that. Instead, we're using these artifacts to understand where am I standing, what ground am I standing on when I make these big presumptions about America. And so, for example, I've kind of been giving you guys little comments that this might be a good paper topic as you are turning in some of your thoughts on some of these ideas. So somebody who is talking about that American flag assignment, what do we think about the flag? And you're talking about the pros and cons of understanding a symbol, then that article is your inspiration if that becomes part of your paper topic, right? So we want to pay homage to that article, kind of giving you inspiration. The paper itself, which you can look at in the actual assignment page, is short. It's our shortest paper of the year. It's 3 to 4 pages instead of 4 to 5, and that actually is harder because it's going to be pretty hard for you to put together an entire essay about what America is in 3 pages. But that's the real challenge of this piece. So we really have a ceiling of 4 pages on this piece. I am using the traditional rubric, so that first rubric that we used, and there is analysis being done here, right? Because you're using sources as part of your thinking. So I am using the entire rubric, and I'll probably make another video to speak to that a little more specifically. So feel free to let me know if you have questions about the writing of the essay. I do plan to start writing and get to peer revision and finish this essay all within 10 days of Monday. So that's a pretty quick timeline for an essay, but you're putting all the thinking into it this week, right? So the hope is that you're coming to the end of this week and you have enough artifacts that you're kind of propping yourself up and ready to write. And if not, then you're spending a little bit more time next week doing some of those mini lessons and kind of getting your head wrapped around this definition of America.